Welcome back to The Curious Yapper. I'm Madison, your host and favorite yapper. Fingers crossed technology cooperates with us and I don't have storage issues on my phone, but stay tuned if I do. So this past week, I don't know that there was many things outside of my comfort zone. We're getting close to being moved to this state for 3 months. And that was kind of the time period my therapist originally said, yeah, it's going to take you about 3 months to settle. So I'm definitely feeling more like this is my space and I do feel more settled. And that's kind of exciting. I will still be pushing myself to find the community and live the life I want to. It's just now good reflection that we are now 13 episodes in, so that is a solid 13 weeks. Anyways, so recapping this week, on Monday, we had gotten back from vacation and we're just relaxing, and we went on a walk at the lake, and that's always great to do. I enjoy being outside and moving my body in that way. And then I'm still in the series, the Fourth Wing series for books, and I'm currently on book number 2, and that is Iron Flame, and really enjoying it so far. We'll see if I make this my entry to fantasy or if this was just a one-off and I liked this specific series. Who knows? And then on Monday, some more relaxed time, got to nap, I believe, and then cleaned and reset and unpacked all that from vacation. And then Tuesday, I took that day off and I adulted a little bit and paid some medical bills. Bleh. Not super fun, necessary though. Somehow they always find you, even though my address changed, they're like, we know where Madison is. So got some of those taken care of. Then I went to the same park by myself, and I love a good long walk, listening to podcasts, and just had a really great morning for myself that way. And then later that night, I went to trivia, and I was excited about that. And I've been enjoying trivia. I'm not the most contributing member of the team, but I am there for vibes, and I'll hype people up when they think they know the right answer. So I'm just kind of part of the team, not really integral. So it could happen with or without me. Anyways, this was a new bar I had not been to yet, and they had a different form of trivia. It's kind of like Kahoot, if you've ever played that, where it's like digital and you get points based on how quickly you answer the question if you're right. So that was interesting. And we're on question 21. There were multiple different rounds. We're on question 21, and I out loud say, wow, there sure are a lot of questions about like world records and things along that nature. And the people I was with were like, yeah, the whole round is about world records. And I was like, you're joking. Turns out I was not paying attention to what the actual main theme of every round was. And that is so Madison, it's not even funny. So after that, I realized each round was having a different full main theme. And then when we got to the next official round, then we were talking about dogs and cats. Pets, I believe, was the theme. Anyways, that was really funny that I made it all the way through question 21 of that round and did not even realize it was based off of the Guinness Book of Records and getting the highest. They did like longest tongue length and random stuff like that. So not necessarily the records that you would have at the back of your mind. Anyways, so that was funny, and went to trivia, had a good time. The next day I was back at work, and many people were like, oh, Madison's back, and people had noticed my presence was gone. And I said out loud, I was like, I love to be missed, which is true, and I do love to be missed. So it was nice to, I guess, be acknowledged in that way. And then I had therapy later that night, and that was really good and really helpful. I am someone whose strength right now is not tooting my own horn. And when people are looking at you to consider you for something else, it is a necessary skill to be able to toot your own horn. And I did not have confidence. So I go to therapy and I was telling her that I didn't want to get my hopes up for something. And she said, no. You have spent a lot of your life navigating disappointment. You can trust that if you have disappointment in your life, you're going to be able to navigate it well. Because that's what you've been doing. And I was like, oh. So she said, do not rob yourself of the joy and excitement of different possibilities. And just think about the what ifs and, oh, well, I should prepare myself this way to be disappointed. So that was like a real, here's the mirror situation. And lots of tears were had. And I believe her direct words to me were, celebrate your fucking self. And I was like, oh, okay. Because it's not always easy to celebrate myself. And I can logically say that, yes, I've accomplished this thing or I've done this hard thing. And even some of you who are in the Yapper squad have reached out and said that my authenticity and bravery and just telling you the different things I'm navigating has given you confidence to do things in your own life. Even though I can logically know all of that, it's really hard for me to, I guess, accept that part and celebrate what I have done. So that was a hard pill to swallow, a necessary one for sure, and challenging at the same time. So I'm gonna celebrate myself, and it's okay to dream and get excited about stuff. And I think I've used not dreaming or thinking that things are so far off, I think I've used that as a crutch or an excuse not to get excited and dream. And she point blank said to me, do you want to choose a life where you're robbing yourself of full joy? Or do you want to choose a life where you're exuding joy and celebrating, and then you just deal with disappointment when it happens? And I was like, when you put it like that, why would I choose a life where I'm not actually joyful and excited about things? So that was tough and good all at the same time. Another thing I'm working on is knowing that two things can coexist, even if they contrast each other. So that was a very good, necessary message in therapy this week. So I'm doing my best. I'm going to celebrate. And in fact, Evan and I booked a trip for my 30th birthday, which is coming up in July. So I'm gonna put the things in action, and moving across the country really did already have us think about and chase what we want to live and what we want to get out of life. So I'm not going to stop at just relocating myself. I'm going to embody that in my personal life. And personal, everything's personal. Everything I'm sharing with you is personal, but personal in the sense of like me, myself. So I do want to choose the life full of joy. I am already living with more joy now. I love where we live. I love the flowers. I really enjoy the weather so far in the spring. And I'm going to continue choosing to celebrate and choose joy. So I thought I was already that person. And then you go to therapy and they give you a little mirror and they're like, hey, this is what you're doing. And this is the life you're going to live if you keep doing this. And I'm like, ooh, okay. So it was really good to get that message. And I hope some of you guys also choose to live and allow yourself to feel the joy and the excitement of life and not just rob yourself because of the what ifs. So anyways, then the next day, Evan had found a new park. There's parks everywhere. Evan had found another one on one of our on one of his walks, and then he took me to it, and it was so cool. And I really enjoy walking around neighborhoods and looking at the houses. I'm like, ooh, I like that one. Ooh, I really enjoy their yard, or ooh, I would do this different and stuff like that. So going to the new park, we got to see a new neighborhood as well, and that was just a really good time. And then we got Taco Bell for dinner, which I love. And then my sister called and got to chat with her for a little bit and hear what's going on in her life and share life together. And that is what life is about. And I enjoyed that. And then Friday, we make it to the weekend. Got to have fun lunch with a couple colleagues. And then Evan and I went to the local lake because there's a nice walking trail there. And you guys, the people here in the Pacific Northwest, they don't play with the sun. It was probably in the 80s on Friday, and apparently everybody here loves when it gets to the 80s. And sun's out, BUNZ out in the Pacific Northwest. I had never seen anything like it. Granted, we were at, I guess, a lake. However, I picture it more to be just a park, but there were so many people out in their bathing suits and they were tanning their goods that they were born with, which good for you. I had just never seen so many people in the park just BUNZ out and reading a book. But I don't know if there's a better Friday evening activity, but people were getting their sun in, they were reading, and so many people, we couldn't even find a parking spot actually, and so many people were out doing paddleboarding and kayaking, and I just got so excited because that's something Evan and I really want to do. We had found some inflatable kayaks at Costco, and I'm thinking, hey, that would be a great place to buy it because of Costco's policy. So Evan and I will have to figure out where we're going to purchase our kayaks. And originally I really wanted a traditional kayak, and I thought that the inflatable ones were like not it. I think the inflatable ones are it because it's way easier to transport, and then in the parking lot so many people have them, and that's what a lot of people do here. They have the inflatable one, and then they just got their little pump that gets them ready to go, and that just seemed like so many people having fun on the lake. And sounds like the most perfect evening or after work activity. So stay tuned. Maybe I will get a kayak here in June. We have made it to June. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Very important to have visibility on every single person in our world. And happy Pride Month. It is very, very, very important. I support you. I see you. And I believe in you. Anyways, so hopefully in June, I can acquire myself a kayak or a paddleboard because I'm just itching to get out there on the water, and it seemed like everyone was having fun. So I was walking with Evan on this trail. We saw the BUNZ, we saw everybody do the kayaking and stuff. And then I told Evan, I was like, I don't want to go as far as you. I'm going to sit here on this bench and have myself a good time. And I did. And on my way to the bench, I saw people on jet skis is what it looked like. And I'm assuming it's a guy because in my mind, boys are the ones that are reckless, but maybe it was a girl, maybe it was a they. So I'm going to say I saw a person on a jet ski doing backflips with the vehicle. And I was like, whoa. And I texted Evan and said, there's someone doing backflips. He said, no way, video. And I said, haha, I cannot give you a video because of phone storage. So that was a funny moment. And just I loved Friday evening, got to be outside in beautiful weather, got to sit on a bench, started reading, got to just people watch on the water. And honestly, summertime, I don't think there's anything better than going on a hike or going kayaking or going on a boat, and then you're just sun in the water, and then come back and you got a sandwich. In my mind, there's no better meal after exerting some energy than just an amazing sandwich. So I need to get on that. I need to bring myself some sandwiches because delicious. Anyways, that was Friday. Evan and I also then went to dinner that night and just hung out when we got home. So that was delightful, but really funny to experience the Pacific Northwest, and the sun is out, BUNZ are out. So that made me laugh pretty good giggle. And then yesterday We woke up really early to go to a hike, and we went to Eagle Creek Trail, and we had gone there back in March, and this time we were going to go further to the Tunnel Falls because I had seen it on TikTok, Evan had seen it on TikTok. It's where you like go behind the water. Anyways, it was great, perfect weather. Again, in the morning, it got a little bit cold, so it's in the maybe high 40s, mid 50s, and you're just on a hike. It was delightful. Then we make it to Tunnel Falls, and similar to me not realizing the world record trivia stuff, Madison didn't realize it was called Tunnel Falls because it's literally a tunnel that you walk behind and there's like a waterfall. I don't really connect the words to the stuff, so I told Evan, I said, wow, I didn't realize we were going in a tunnel. And he said, did you not watch the TikToks? And I said, totally watched the TikToks. I just didn't realize, whatever. I'm a silly goose behavior over here. And it was a good hike. We found a couple spots to take a little break and eat a little snack, drink some water. And I think my sweet spot for a hike is 9 miles. This one totaled to be 12 miles. And honestly, those last 3 miles, they're not it. And I was like, I'm ready to be done. And 9 miles, I think, is the sweet spot. But I was proud of my body for doing 12 because when we moved here in March, I thought I'd have to train for a really long time in order to make it the 12 miles. And look at my body go. Less than 3 months later, she is doing 12 miles. And last week we went to the Redwoods and did 14. So like, go Madison. Speaking of the therapy and celebrate yourself, like check out all the things you can do, Madison. I'm saying this to myself. Say it to yourself too. Check out all the things you can do. And so that was cool. Then after the hike, we went to Hood River to go get our normal sandwich spot. So I did get my sandwich. It's just not the sandwich I would make. It was good. I'm very particular once. Anyways, so got myself a sandwich, and then Evan and I went to our favorite spot at a park where you can see the river, and we parked it on a good bench, ate our sandwiches, and there were so many kite surfers there. I have never seen so many. Every time we go, you usually see one or two. I guess, again, sun's out, BUNZ out. There weren't really many BUNZ tanning there. There were lots of people doing the kite surfing, though. I was wondering maybe they were doing some classes or something because so many people, so many different kites that they were using. And then some people, I don't know the difference because I've never done it, but some people have the really long kites that you would see in like parasailing, and they could go out of the water and do flips and stuff. So that was pretty cool. And then there were other people that looked like inflatable kite things that they had pumped around the edges. And then they were like holding it, but they didn't really come out of the water. So I don't know. Kind of similar, if you know who Elise Myers is, love her. She has what she calls the how hard can it be gene. And so in my mind, I was like, could I kite surf? And Evan said, I'm sure if you practice enough, yes, you could. And I was like, I gotta try this kite surfing. So maybe I'll try that, who knows? And in the time being, we got to watch them. And then I was reading some book, and then it was time to get home, and then took a shower, took a nap since we were up so early, read some more, and I also put away some of the chores that I didn't want to do. So like the dishes and putting away laundry and stuff like that. And then we did dinner yesterday. We did dinner at this place called the Black Bear Diner, thinking it was a Pacific Northwest thing. Nope. Have you been to the Black Bear Diner? They got locations in Texas. They got them pretty much all over the US, which made us laugh. And we got seated, and they gave us like 2 pieces of paper, and we just thought they were info things. And so our waitress came by, and we had it looked like newspapers. We put these 2 newspapers back at the edge of our table, and she said, she said, what would you like to drink? And we both wanted water. And she said, I take it that since these are over here, you're ready to order. And I was like, oh no, are those the menus? And she said, yes, it looks like a newspaper that is our menu. So we did not pay attention and had to use and view those afterwards, but that was funny. And then some more relaxing. And then this morning I slept in, and then I checked in for a flight. I'm traveling for work this coming week, and I did not miss the check-in this time. Go me. And then I took a quick, not a nap because I was still sleeping. So I slept some more this morning, and I had the most wild dream. You guys remember the guest we had on our show, Kylie. So my girl Kylie was in the dream, and I was, I guess, back in Texas, and I was supposed to get a rental car, and I picked up my rental car, went to the office, and then it was time to leave for the day, but somehow it was still morning. I don't know. And I go back to the car. I didn't remember where I parked, so I'm using the key fob to find it, and I go open it, and I'm in this Dodge van that does not have a steering wheel, doesn't have a dash, doesn't have really anything you need to drive a car, but then somehow it's connected to this Tesla in front, and Kylie is just hyping me up, and we're gonna leave and drive with this car that's connected to a Tesla that is not going a darn place. Turn it on. Tesla starts auto driving us, hauling us in this van, and then we're starting to crash into a car, and Kylie's like, no! And then, I don't even know, things got weird. Then I'm inside, work has now turned into the car rental place, and so strange. But hopefully when I get a rental car tomorrow, that is not the case. I'll make sure it has a steering wheel. But that was this morning, and then Evan and I just got back from a nice walk, and it's gorgeous. It was maybe in the mid 60s, just delightful. The sun is out. Didn't see any BUNZ, so sun's out, BUNZ out, I guess is just on a Friday. I'm not sure. I'm new here, and more of today is gonna be packing, and then more chilling, and I will probably hopefully read some more of my book and catch up. Me and Evan will catch up on a podcast we watch religiously, The Necessary Conversation. It's a family that talks about politics. Wild. And hoping that my flight and everything goes well tomorrow. So thanks for the Yap Sesh Yappers. I will keep you updated on if living outside your comfort zone pays off, but I will see you next time. Bye.